Welcome back, guys. I'm Valen.
And I'm Theo.
And today we're reacting to why is Taeyeon so popular?
Why is she popular?
Why is she popular?
I mean, I have a couple of ideas why. It might have something to do with her incredibly catchy discography. Can't get around that. Her absolutely fire albums, and also just her consistency within the K-pop industry.
And her amazing voice.
Oh, she definitely is.
She's so talented.
She is a legitimately very talented singer. Definitely one of the strongest vocalists out of Girls' Generation.
Exactly.
No doubt about that.
No doubt. So we're gonna do this deep dive Girls' Generation Forever One comeback tribute by Johnathan Miller Music.
So big shout out to Johnathan Miller Music for actually creating this video in the first place. That is super cool.
Yes.
Make sure to head on over to his channel and give it a big like and subscribe to it. Also, everyone, before we begin, make sure to like the video if you enjoy our content and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more of us. Lastly, we already got so much Taeyeon content over on Patreon, including albums like the 2X mini album, INVU, and also Purpose. Free, really cool albums that were really interesting to review and react to. Mega cool. We also have some Studio Tune performances, live performances, concert performances. We also have a bit of Girls' Generation content over there as well. And we actually just analyzed some Taeyeon behind the scenes recording sessions, which was super cool because as someone who loves mixing and mastering music, producing music, and also recording music, I know quite a lot regarding that. So it was super cool to analyze that and kind of explain to all the fans what's actually happening when Taeyeon records her music. And of course, we're also trying to always get new Taeyeon content up over there as well. So if you want to check out all that content, well, then make sure to head on over to Patreon. It's also the best way to support the channel. Nonetheless, let's do it. Why is Taeyeon so popular? Let's find out.
1, 2, 3, let's go.
Why is Taeyeon so popular? How did she transition from the leader of Girls' Generation into being one of the best-selling K-pop soloists of all time? Especially during a time when solo debuts were not as much of a guarantee as they are today. Furthermore, why does her success matter and what can we learn from her? If you're a fan of...
It's actually legitimately cool to think about how like Taeyeon, when she was doing her solo debut, as far as I understand, actually was a bit unpopular because she dared to have a relationship, right?
Oh yeah, that's true.
And then like by having such like a powerful like solo, I guess, career, she sort of won back a lot of the fans who may have like gotten mad at her over that, which is silly, of course, but you know, whatever.
Taeyeon, Girls' Generation, K-pop, or you just want to know a little bit more about her? Let's dive into Taeyeon's life and career as an artist to see how the woman who once ran away and almost quit during her trainee period became one of the most inspirational K-pop artists of all time. Let's blast off and get started.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Again, giant shout out to Johnathan Miller, of course, for making the video.
Konnichiwa, friends. I'm Johnathan Miller, and welcome back to Johnathan Miller Music, where we help each other become better artists. Kim Taeyeon has sold over 1 million albums since debuting as a soloist in 2015. Her recent hit, INVU, topped the iTunes Songs charts in 21 different countries around the world, eventually receiving a perfect all-kill, going #1 on multiple Korean music charts. She was the leader of the mega-successful group Girls' Generation,
of course,
who became the first Asian girl group to have 5 music videos reach over 100 million views on YouTube, achieved 10 #1 singles.
I actually wonder which countries do you think those 21 countries where it like got so popular INVU were or was?
Yeah, I don't know.
Where were those 21 countries?
Asia, maybe America too.
I'm gonna guess the Philippines, Indonesia, South Korea, Japan probably. Do they count like Hong Kong? I know like China. I don't think they even
Taiwan.
Taiwan definitely.
America
too.
Maybe.
She has a lot of American fans.
Definitely.
She has a lot of American fans.
K-pop is very big in America.
You think anywhere in Europe? I don't think it got that big in Europe.
Yeah, Europe just is
maybe
another...
It's not that big in K-pop.
It's not the hugest, no, it's not the biggest.
No, I feel like even here in South America, like per capita wise, I feel like there are more K-pop fans here.
Exactly.
Nonetheless, let's keep going.
And half of the top 10 highest grossing girl group tours of all time belong to Girls' Generation. Taeyeon herself is the best-selling female soloist in the history of the Gaon charts, which is kind of the Billboard equivalent of South Korea. She's been cited as the inspiration and influence of BTS, Lovely's Jie, Moonbyul, Taeyeon, and more. She's been invited to record multiple original soundtrack songs for various TV and film projects, including her song If, which still remains as one of her most well-known hits. Her debut solo EP, I, topped the Billboard World Albums chart and directly caused SM Entertainment to lead music sales in the last quarter of 2015.
Crazy.
But why is she so popular?
Okay, so within SM, she's like a huge part of their revenue stream, I then understand.
Definitely. In 2015.
Well, I hope that they also
other
continue
years.
then like putting a lot of like resources behind her.
Yeah.
And her musical
I hope
career.
so.
Because I've heard some fans that have kind of been scared of SM not like putting enough, you know, support into her career.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, nonetheless, let's hope that's not the case.
Yeah.
There are plenty of other female K-pop soloists that you might be more familiar with, like Lisa, IU, Ailey, Chungha, Boa, Hyuna, and more. So why is Taeyeon the one we're talking about today? Plenty of other female artists have great voices, so what makes her so special?
I feel like out of all of those, I'm of course gonna make someone annoyed right now with what I'm gonna say. I feel like only IU might top Taeyeon in terms of like
Voice?
popularity, not voice, just popularity. I feel like
Probably.
maybe IU can beat Taeyeon. I think so, right?
Yeah, IU is like one of the biggest.
The biggest
that
female
does not come
artist.
from any group. She's
No,
like
no.
always been a soloist.
No, but ignoring IU, I think Taeyeon is
Taeyeon.
probably number 2 in
I
terms
would
of
say
just
so.
we're just speaking popularity here. Right.
In order to answer this, it's always important to know some history, especially when it comes to somebody else's culture. So as always, please remember that the opinions expressed in this video
Kidnapping.
today are my own, and it's not
Damn.
my intention to try and speak over anyone else. I encourage you to do your own research and listen to the thoughts and opinions of those who are Korean.
It's interesting that Johnathan here also includes like a little disclaimer like this
Yeah.
because, you know, we always talk about K-pop fans are incredibly passionate and supportive people. And when someone is passionate, of course it means that someone is, you know, loving and caring and interested, but people can, at least a certain subgroup of people, can also get very heated over very small things.
Yeah,
sometimes.
definitely.
Very
Definitely.
small things.
Definitely.
So yeah, I understand why he adds this, but, you know, it's kind of sad. But it is what it is.
Because, once
I get
again,
what.
these are just my thoughts. Also, if you're enjoying this video so far, give it a like and subscribe if you're new, and leave a comment too, telling me your top 5 favorite songs of Taeyeon if you happen to be a fan of hers, especially if you've followed her for a long time. In order to appreciate who Taeyeon is now, you've got to know where she comes from, and why at one point, she was ready to throw it all away.
Damn.
Kim Taeyeon was born in Jeonju, South Korea on March 9th, 1989. Her favorite artists growing up were people like Whitney Houston, Boa, and Utada Hikaru. As a kid, she believed that her, quote, only talent in life was singing, so at the age of 13,
Damn.
she enrolled in SM Academy, a small division of parent company SM Entertainment, focused on teaching kids how to sing, act, dance, model. It wasn't a guarantee that you would get scouted by SM to become a trainee, but it was more overall designed to help kids excel in the arts. Since then, SM Academy has evolved into SM Institute, a joint venture between its parent company and Jungro Hana Education as of 2020. Back then, Taeyeon's father was very hesitant to let Taeyeon pursue singing. However, seeing his daughter's dedication and her vocal prowess, he became
Check out young Taeyeon
looks so
right
cute.
here. Aw,
She looks so cute.
For sure. I'm sure that, of course, for as a parent, it can
Yeah.
give you a lot of anxiety to
Exactly.
let your kid do something which has no guarantee of success and actually probably has
And
a
it
pretty
gives you
small percentage chance of success.
And gives you so much stress at such a young age.
Oh, for sure. But at the same time,
no.
like, I'm sure within Korea it can actually be pretty hard for people who are very artistic because on one hand they want to, of course, pursue their arts, but at the same time they know that if they enter, you know, K-pop, which is obviously a huge part of the Korean entertainment and artistic like industry,
Yeah.
that can also just give you so much stress at the same time
Exactly.
and all sorts of things.
became convinced and began taking her to vocal lessons every Sunday at SM Academy. Taeyeon
Cute.
trained under Jung Soon Won, aka The One, for 3 years until she was about 16. Impressed by her vocal power, he gave her a unique opportunity to appear on his song You Bring Me Joy. She eventually competed and won the SM Youth Best competition
Ooh.
and officially auditioned for SM Entertainment, where she was cut off halfway through and offered a contract which she and her family quickly signed.
Oh,
However,
cute.
K-pop trainee contracts are not all that they seem.
Yeah.
K-pop works a little bit differently from the Western music industry. Talent is usually scouted at a young age, trained and developed extensively, and when the company feels the trainee is prepared, they'll be given a...
True, it's not like signing a contract in a Western context,
Totally
where it's
different.
more of almost like a collaboration between the label and the artist. Here, it's more like you're just a straight up employee.
Yeah.
That's quite different.
That's very different.
That's very different.
Very.
chance to sort of graduate into a group or rarely as a soloist, the two of which being the most common avenues. Although modeling and acting are also possibilities as well. On the surface, this seems pretty solid as a successful career plan that has been proven to work. However, you may have heard the term slave contracts run around in online communities, and there's a reason for that. K-pop trainee contracts are notoriously restrictive, even more so depending on which company you sign with. You can't date, you have to be placed on a diet to weigh a certain amount, you're working out in dance classes sometimes 8+ hours a day, in most cases you're living in dorms with other trainees, you can't go certain places or say certain things while also attending school, and if you step one toe out—
What are the places you can't go? Do you have any idea? Like
you cannot go to bars,
clubs,
restaurants.
bars, restaurants even?
Maybe sometimes restaurants. If you're like as a trainee, for example.
Okay.
If you're like very big, if people can recognize you, or I don't know, sometimes like they just don't allow you.
Right.
out of line, it can mean serious financial consequences for you and your family. The competition is incredibly thick, and the pressure trainees are put under cannot be understated, with the mentality being if you're not willing to diet down to 100 pounds, for example, there are 100 other girls who are willing to take your place. Contracts on average also keep you under lock and key for a period of 7 years or more, and when Taeyeon signed her contract, the average time was 10 years or more. As a K-pop trainee,
so from
your company is
16 to 26 then.
thousands of dollars into your development. As I said before, there can be severe financial penalty for breaking a contract early. If you fulfill your contract and your training period, once you debut, in most cases, you start to begin to pay that debt back. Because as a trainee, the company pays for everything. Accommodation, housing, food, classes, transportation, and more. You don't start getting paid as an idol until your debts are paid.
Definitely.
Okay, so at the same time, you're not an employee in any ways. No, you're not getting invested into in that way.
No, you have to pay back.
Okay, wow. That is even like more surprising. I had not expected that.
No, I knew that.
I understood it as like, of course, you weren't getting paid as a trainee, but of course the company was just, paying for your stuff, and that's that. But no.
If you're going to debut,
you have to pay all of that stuff back.
Yeah.
Wow, I had not expected that.
Yeah.
Okay, I had not expected that at all.
Paid off, which is one of the reasons K-pop debuts mean so much to each individual idol. Break that contract though, then you and your family have to pay all of that money back on your own. Taeyeon in particular recounts training to be an enormous undertaking, dieting especially. In an interview, Taeyeon said the stress of dieting caused her a lot of issues as a kid. She was, in her opinion, on the chubby side, so she would frequently get comments about her weight and reminders to be skinny, which she really struggled with because as a vocalist...
Like, I totally get that, of course, you want the group to look somewhat within a certain category, right? But yeah, it definitely seems like it's taking... It's too crazy.
It's too extreme.
I think it's too extreme.
Sense. It makes no sense.
Definitely way too much.
Yeah. She was so hungry
because it gives people anxiety. It makes people super
dancing, and eventually
I don't know,
man.
man.
Quit completely by running back.
Really gives people disorders.
It's not uncommon for a female trainee's breakfast to just be an apple, and that's it. Lunch could be a salad or something smaller, and then they don't eat for the rest of the day. Taeyeon even said that the managers would prevent them from eating, especially if they were deemed too heavy. Now, there have been numerous cases brought to the federal...
And then on top of that, remember that they're also dancing all day. They're spending so much energy.
That's the thing, it makes no sense.
No, that's the crazy part.
They need so much energy.
Because I get, like, if they're literally not doing anything all day, then you could probably survive
they're
off
doing
of
cardio like 8 hours a day.
Exactly. You want some carbs.
Protein.
You want some protein. It's true.
That's true. TVXQ, remember?
About these slave contracts, but have only gotten so far. Contracts can be ironclad. The reason the big three entertainment companies of South Korea SM, YG, and JYP Entertainment are so sought after is because debt is usually forgiven once an idol debuts. Meaning usually they can start earning money right away. Otherwise,
I didn't know that.
Me neither. Okay. So it is kind of like more, okay, so the debt maybe is more of like a way to make sure that you do debut, that you don't just jump out on them early and just leave them hanging with all of the stuff that they have invested into you.
Maybe.
Because obviously that's going to be annoying as the company. They've spent like 2 years on training you and everything, paying for your everything, and then you just
food, and then you just go.
Okay, bye.
Yeah.
And that's it. Okay,
It's
so
true.
maybe it's like the carrot and the stick.
Makes sense.
Right.
I didn't know that of the big tree.
Okay.
Makes sense.
Makes sense.
it can be years before your favorite idol actually starts to earn money. But this was the early 2000s. Taeyeon wanted to follow in the footsteps of SM label mate BoA and release music
that's
in
good, though,
Japanese, have
that
activities
those labels
in
are doing
Japan
that.
and around the world.
At least.
She ran away back to Jeonju, hoping that somebody would want her to return. Future group mate Seohyun also confirmed the stress of dieting, as the girls would often sneak off to eat chocolate or something else that could be consumed really quickly, and they tried really hard not to get caught. However, Taeyeon remembered what she was working toward and quickly returned to SM Entertainment to resume her training. Then, at 19 years old, Taeyeon was finally selected to be the leader as the oldest member of SM's new girl group. Their
Oldest?
first in a long while.
I didn't
SM
know
was
that.
starting to
Me neither,
achieve
actually.
A bit of a gold streak with successful acts like BoA, TVXQ, and Super Junior, as the early 2000s shifted into the mid 2000s, and people were beginning to wonder if SM could produce another SES. It was a new era for K-pop and the beginning of Girls' Generation.
With regards to the labels, though, if we're just going to talk about it for like 10 seconds more, I do also get it again from the
I get
label
it, I
side.
get it.
Like, it's such a huge amount of investment into a person or a group of individuals.
Yeah.
So, like, you really want them to stick around.
I used to follow a lot of Monsta X's story and everything, and they didn't even have a phone for like the first 3 years after they debuted, because they
That's
didn't
true.
win any award,
That's true.
anything. Probably they were still paying their things. I don't think they even have money.
No.
They're still paying back Starship, I think it's called their company.
Okay.
Etc. It's very sad. Because if you succeed, then it's good. You pay it off fast, or you don't even have to pay anything.
But when
you
it
get
comes
money.
to record labels, also in the West, and I'm sure also, of course, in Korea, you also have to remember how many other people that are involved that also needs to get paid.
Yeah.
We got like recording engineers. We got
The
all
staff,
sorts
the
of
manager.
just general managing of the group.
The manager have to live with you, man, feed you.
True that.
It's literally
We got
crazy.
housing. We got mixing engineers.
Yeah.
We got everyone related to creating music videos. We
Exactly.
got creative directors.
Stylists.
We got stylists. We got.
The person who brings food, I don't know, things like that.
We probably, and in case you maybe don't make all your songs yourself, we of course also have to pay actual songwriters. It is a lot,
It's a lot
of
of
money
money.
that gets invested into
It
these
is a
groups.
lot of money.
For sure.
Definitely.
Debuting on August 5th, 2007, Jessica, Tiffany, Seohyun, Yuri, Yuna, Hyoyeon, Sooyoung, Sunny, and Taeyeon showcased their very first single Into the
It's such
New
a good
World
song.
on
I love
Korean
it.
music show Inkigayo. The group stood out
We
not
watched
because
that
they were given
performance,
lip
Yeah,
sync,
we did.
no
It
makeup
was really
at all,
good.
but because their strong voices and choreography
Yeah,
were so
such
strong
strong
that
voices.
audiences had to focus on their talents over things like flashy lights and stage effects. Taeyeon revealed many years later that the choreography for Into the
Over on Patreon, we actually watched their comeback, or like the debut stage.
Their debut, that's right.
Of Girls' Generation into the New World was
And
so good.
They were, we were legitimately blown away
Yes.
by just how much raw talent was coming out of these super young girls.
Yes, it was
like
crazy.
Straight out of the gate.
It's
Really
crazy.
cool. Really cool. Yeah, like they didn't need any extra flashing lights.
nothing.
Or costumes or,
or crazy
anything.
makeup, nothing.
Nothing at all.
They look very cute.
It was really refreshing
Very
to actually
cool.
see it.
Very.
And with like basically no backing track, I think,
No,
either. No
barely.
auto tune, no nothing.
So good.
New World had been prepared nearly a year before Girls' Generation even debuted.
Damn.
Meaning that the girls were practicing their debut song for a long time before launch. The
Yeah.
song was initially a moderate hit, eventually reaching number 2 on the Gaon album chart, and
Pretty
reached
good.
number 1
Not
on
bad.
Mnet's M Countdown. Subsequently, they released their debut album, along with a few more singles, like the appropriately titled Girls' Generation, a cover of Lee Sung Chul's 1989 classic, from which the girls get their group name. The girls were getting attention, but it wasn't until 2009 when the group became a total household name.
Isn't it?
Their EP, G,
I told you.
accompanying title track, dropped January 5th, 2009, and became a massive success, selling over 100,000 copies in its first week.
I get why
100,000.
G became so big. It really
so
just
catchy.
gets into your brain. Seriously.
It's so cute. I love this song.
It is like an absolutely iconic K-pop song.
Yeah.
It really just like personifies like second generation K-pop.
Yes,
to me,
definitely.
for sure.
Week, and eventually becoming the best-selling single of the entire year.
Damn.
Showcasing an even more cutesy style and well-known for its colorful skinny jeans,
Yeah.
the music video helped G receive numerous accolades, become the most popular song of the entire 2000s decade on Melon, another popular Korean music chart, and has since been considered as one of the most influential songs in all of K-pop.
Definitely.
It became the first video.
Let's just see that list again from Melon here. Boa #1.
Okay.
I don't know that song.
No, me neither.
We gotta check it out.
Need to check it
then
out.
obviously EXO Growl makes sense.
Yeah.
Psy Gangnam Style. I'd honestly put Gangnam Style from
First.
my experience #1 just because of how much like it brought it like an international
But
spotlight.
this is like
onto K-pop.
Melon's list of top 100. It's
BTS
like whatever it is.
Dynamite that high? Out of
It
all
was-
the BTS songs?
It was big.
I think BTS has better songs than
music
that,
for sure.
Okay, and then 2 Girls' Generation songs.
Yeah.
Damn.
And I Am the Best 21 makes sense.
Shiny Sherlock is down there too.
It's good.
That's
Mirotic is so good too.
all of K-pop. It became the first video ever by a girl group to reach over 100
Damn.
million views on YouTube and received
Very
an
cool.
estimated 5 million digital downloads in South Korea alone.
Damn.
Around this time, the world was starting to move even more so online. K-pop was virtually unknown completely in the West, but music blogs were very popular and always looking for something new. G's success can actually be tracked to show that online searches for K-pop began
J-pop
to
was way bigger.
dramatically increase
That's true.
once the song dropped and began to get viral action. By today's standards, one could argue that more modern artists like BTS or Blackpink have done way more for K-pop, or that their impact was larger. And to certain
But who really paved the way?
Yeah.
You know, who really
course.
started the
I
way?
think everyone respects.
That was
everyone
Girls'
who
Generation. That was Shiny. That was EXO.
Super Junior.
Super Junior,
Sa-
TVXQ,
TVXQ.
Monster X.
Psy, even Psy.
Oh, Psy for
Gangnam
sure.
Style.
Even I'd honestly say probably Psy in just Gangnam Style
It
alone
just Gangnam
did
Style.
so much.
But nowadays, yeah, Blackpink and BTS from like
Definitely.
2017 they started.
The
big
first time
wave.
I ever heard of K-pop was Gangnam Style.
Oh, everyone.
I never.
Everyone.
You
just-
too, right?
Yeah. me
Probably
too.
you guys too.
No, I heard it 2011 with FX.
Okay.
And then 2012 with Gangnam Style, of course.
Right. For me, it was literally just Gangnam Style and then BTS.
Definitely.
Those were, like,
Of
the
course,
groups.
everyone.
Right.
Everyone's is first is Gangnam Style, definitely.
an extent, you would be right. But those groups didn't exist in 2009. And every tsunami starts with an earthquake. G
True.
being the earthquake for the Korean wave, which
True.
was quickly approaching Western shores. Following G, Taeyeon and the girls proved that they had staying power and released multiple hit after hit. Genie, Oh, Run Devil Run, showing a more mature side to the women while also maintaining a balance and showcasing their girlish charms as well.
True.
Selling hundreds of thousands of records and attaining multiple #1s, it was time to see just how far Girls' Generation's rising popularity could stretch. So, following the success of label mates TVXQ and BoA, Taeyeon was about to get her wish and finally promote abroad in Japan. A Japanese
Okay.
version of Genie became Girls' Generation's debut song in Japan and was certified
Interesting.
platinum. A
Oh.
Japanese version
I wonder how their
of
pronunciation in
G reached
Japanese is.
#2
Yeah.
on the Oricon charts and became the first single by a non-Japanese girl group to reach the top 3 on the Oricon charts since 1980.
Nice.
And became a million seller there as well.
Damn.
Becoming only the second Korean artist ever and the first Korean group to do so in Japan.
Damn.
Till this
solidifying
day?
their international popularity.
There,
The
in
girls
like
even
in
bro-
2010.
Okay, because I'm
2012.
sure like nowadays,
I
like
know.
K-pop is huge within Japan.
Definitely.
Now, and they make
this
so
is-
many.
This is like before the time when it happened.
Okay, because nowadays, like so many groups always doing Japanese covers of their like own songs
yeah.
or Japanese versions.
No, the first person, the first Korean person was like in the 1980s, he said.
Okay.
And there's like the first group to get like a reach #1.
It's very historic.
Very cool, yeah.
could do so in Japan, solidifying their international popularity. The girls even broke more ground by releasing their debut English song, The Boys, in 2011. Girls' Generation is comprised of women who can speak Japanese, English, Chinese, and Korean, which gave the group a unique advantage in foreign markets. The American music market is the most financially profitable if you can successfully break into the market.
Definitely.
At that time, however, we didn't have very many prominent Asian artists, but Girls' Generation still managed to become one of the first K-pop acts ever to perform on American late-night TV.
True.
A massive breakthrough for K-pop acts of today, and something that Taeyeon's idol Boa couldn't even do when she was in the US. As time continued, Girls' Generation went on to break more ground in South Korea and abroad, releasing a seemingly never-ending string of popular hits in Korean and Japanese. Their hit I Got a Boy won at the first YouTube Music Awards in 2013, beating out acts like Justin Bieber and Psy. Their concert tours became some of the highest grossing tours of all time, attracting over half
beating
a
out
million
Justin Bieber is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Girls' Generation was beloved and dominating the K-pop game, frequently setting music trends and fashion trends, and before you know it, they had become one of the best-selling and most popular girl groups of all time around the world. But all of that success means a lot of pressure. In a system designed to expect perfection at all times, there's bound to be issues, arguments, disagreements, and
sometimes people gotta just chill.
You have to chill.
That's all I'm gonna say on that, because we've already talked so much about it, but I'll just say it, man.
Yeah.
A secret to a lot of things in life is just
chill.
Anyhow, everyone, let's keep on going.
Safety issues. People constantly want what you have. They target your looks, your choices, your music, your movements, your words. The K-pop world can get pretty hectic. It can also get pretty dangerous.
Some crazy sesangs, or
In a
what
variety
are we going to
show
be
segment, Taeyeon was once asked what she would give her future child. When people started suggesting her voice, Taeyeon quickly corrected them and said no, because her child, quote, can't become a singer. What was initially passed off as a funny moment, it's obvious now that back in the
my light skin tone. Korean moment
right here.
K-pop moment. It's kind of sad, you know, how like within East Asian culture, people who aren't light like feel like they're worth less because they're always talking about, oh, you're so pretty because you're light, blah blah blah.
Is the most controversial and like dumbest thing
I think it is unadulterated. I think it is a genuinely dumb thing.
Yeah,
colorism is so dumb. Like, let's say her, right? You know,
no sense.
Valentina's like a mixed race kind of Colombian woman. She might as well have come out darker. She might as well have come out lighter.
Exactly.
Would that make her worth less or more? It's really weird.
Apparently in Asia.
It's so weird. I just don't get it.
Because it makes no sense.
It's literally just dumb.
It's senseless.
And it causes suffering to random people because they have more melanin. How am I supposed to take that seriously? I think it's legitimately bad. I think it is bad to think like that.
I think it's, for me personally, it's the worst thing to come out of like K-pop or Asia. Or even these countries in Latin America.
And here's an interesting thing though regarding that. A lot of people say, oh, that's because of Eurocentric beauty standards. But actually, no. East Asia, even before Europeans showed up, still put a lot of effort into appearing light skin.
It's just because you look rich. You don't have to work outside, thus you're not darker. That's it.
It's just silly.
Funny
Comes
moment.
with that.
It's obvious now that back in the 2010s, Taeyeon meant the word can't in her statement. Because she knew that becoming a singer in the K-pop industry meant unspeakable sorrow at times.
Yeah.
Dieting
it
did
can
not
be.
end once training days were over. Girls' Generation was so popular and so active that Taeyeon revealed later that the pressures of perfection got to her as someone who easily finds flaws about themselves and then obsesses over them. She was very isolated and stated that she would perform in front of thousands of people and then go home and feel completely empty. She would feel nothing. She tried reaching out to idols her age or a little bit older, and they would simply tell her that this was...
Imagine having so much support and love and having gone out and performed for so many adoring fans and still just feeling empty and unloved and like just lonely.
That's how it is.
Home.
Your mind may play tricks on you.
I guess, sometimes. I mean, with a lot of artists, at the end of the day, like, it's just you're struggling with something else internally, I guess. For sure.
the best time in her career and she needed to be happy. She felt for a very long period of time that she couldn't talk to anyone, even when Girls' Generation was at the top of their game. Girls' Generation was promoting so much, so fast, that Taeyeon also revealed she genuinely forgot how old she was, and not for a good reason. 2 years would pass because of so many consistent dates that she would just not know what day it was at all. Even in 2019, Taeyeon confirmed in an Instagram Q&A that she was still getting treatment for her depression and on antidepressants. One of the reasons she...
Do you have bipolar disorder? What the heck kind of like weird...
Question.
But it's phrased so like... I don't know, it's phrased so derogatory. Okay, let's say that hypothetically she had bipolar disorder. Why would you make fun of her for that? I mean, that sucks.
Yeah.
I'm sure people who have bipolar disorder don't want to have bipolar disorder. Yeah, that's like a very unfunny thing to have.
But let you answer with, I'm having depression. I'm suffering from... That's crazy.
Yeah, don't people actually answer. Damn, you go, girl. That's horrible, man.
You go, girl.
There's some people there, and then they like, turn around.
No. And then when they kill themselves, people shouldn't be so harsh.
She's been on antidepressants for so long is because from 2017 to 2020, Taeyeon experienced a lot of loss. Mental health issues and depression run deep in the entertainment industry, especially in K-pop, which is something I as an artist who has struggled with mental health issues know myself pretty well. SM labelmate Johnathan of trainee passed away at the end of 2017, which shocked the entire K-pop industry. Taeyeon and Johnathan were very close friends since their trainee days, and both are known for their strong voices, even collaborating on a few songs. Heartbroken, when he passed, Taeyeon left a tribute message on social media saying, "You were the most unique and talented artist I ever met. I miss you very much and want to hold your hand. Johnathan, you're the best. You worked really hard. I'll make sure you're not lonely." Soon after, at the end of 2019, just before Taeyeon's second album was set to launch, another SM Entertainment label mate and even closer friend, Sully, passed away from depression and being the victim of severe online bullying for a
She's from FX.
Now, it's pretty well known that South Korea has one of the highest suicide rates in the whole world. But what I also learned from this documentary yesterday was that within South Korea, people who are in the K-pop industry have one of the highest suicide rates within South Korea. So that means that they have like one of the highest suicide rates in the whole world. And that's tragic. It's sad. I don't know. I'm not an expert. I legitimately ain't. I know there's people out there who know the ins and outs of this industry much better than me, or even Valen, who's obviously like super duper into that whole thing. But something really ought to change, because all these poor artists who just, wanna make art and wanna entertain people and wanna like do something interesting with their lives shouldn't have to go for all this suffering. I mean, life shouldn't just be suffering and pain. No. It should be a beautiful thing that you share with everyone else on the planet.
And it's not only this, like people always say when somebody kills themselves or dies, they're like, oh, people are so harsh, we should change our society,
And then nothing changes.
And then just 6 months later, another thing happens and they start bullying them again.
Sure. That's something.
No words.
That's something.
Away from depression and being the victim of severe online bullying for a number of years. Taeyeon and Sully lived together as trainees and would often support one another in various activities. Taeyeon says Sully was like a little sister to her, and the last public conversation between the women was during an episode of Jinri's Store. Taeyeon made a surprise visit on the variety show to support Sully, during which Sully told Taeyeon that she would never forget this moment. Taeyeon assured her that they would make more memories together and said goodbye to Sully, not knowing what was going to happen soon after. Following the news, Taeyeon delayed her release by a few weeks but did not perform any scheduled activities, and for the remainder of the year became very quiet. Then in 2020, as if that wasn't enough, just as both the COVID-19 pandemic was beginning and her digital single Happy was about to be released, news broke out that Taeyeon's father had passed away as well on Taeyeon's 31st birthday.
Damn.
She canceled all activities to help set up a private funeral with her family and remained out of the public.
Does anyone know how old he was? Taeyeon's father? More or less?
Maybe 60?
Damn, that's early. I mean, who knows? But who knows? Write in the comments. Yeah. Educate us.
For the duration of the following few months.
Damn.
The man who once took her every Sunday to vocal lessons to help her fulfill her dream had left her, and that was just the latter half of the decade. The 2010s were filled with many highs and lows for Taeyeon, and things happened rather quickly. During a performance of their song Run Devil Run, things got especially frightening. Every fandom has fans that definitely take things too far, or anti-fans, sasaeng fans as they're known in Korean, that will do
there's a lot of kooky people out there
to try and take you out, even if that means blackmailing you, or stalking you, or worse. In April 2011, Girls' Generation was performing at the Lotte World Ice Rink, and one of those sasaeng fans managed to sneak onto the stage and tried to kidnap Taeyeon right in the middle of the performance. He came right up to her, grabbed her arm, and started taking her off stage.
Oh yeah, good. Finally, we got somebody. Beat him.
It's insane.
Beat his ass.
I remember this video. I was like, this is crazy.
What the heck? What kind of freak?
It's a freak, that's it?
Definitely. I mean, what was he even thinking? That he was just gonna drag her to where?
Bye, let's go.
Bye. Get in my trunk.
Yeah, he thought.
Well, it didn't work out. Hope this guy got sent off to the loony bin or something.
I hope so.
Up to her, grabbed her arm, and started taking her
This is
off
crazy.
stage. Fortunately, the MC of the show, Oh Jung-tae, and fellow member Sunny realized what was happening and managed to stop the man in question just in the nick of time. Unfortunately, no charges were filed, and fans to this day still don't understand why.
What?
Fuck.
What?
Maybe he ran off.
Ran off? No, I don't think it was that. They could definitely figure out who it was.
Why the fuck didn't they do anything?
I'm sure he was detained and everything.
That's crazy. SM should have really pressed charges.
Maybe it wasn't SM. Who knows what it was?
No, SM, the company should have pressed charges on the guy.
I mean, at the end of the day, wouldn't it also be who knows what happened?
Yeah.
Who knows what happened? But messed up. Definitely they should have pressed charges. That's for sure.
Taeyeon said she was terrified to go on stage for a long period of time.
Damn.
This wouldn't be the only time Taeyeon would encounter a sasaeng fan, however. In August 2017, a group of sasaeng fans rushed toward her, grabbed her, and pushed her to the ground while trying to get pictures of NCT at the airport. When she and groupmate Hyoyeon talked about this on
So let me get it straight. This was like people who just could not care less about Taeyeon and just went like, get away! Give me my NCT. Give me my NCT. Imagine just like pushing away one of like the biggest people in K-pop because you're so obsessed with another group. You just sort of like ignore them like they're nothing. Bro. Some of these people are crazy, like legitimately nuts.
Mentally.
They're just nuts, man. That's also why we're doing a video specifically about just crazy sasaeng incidents very soon. Yeah. We've just been busy having to do a lot of other stuff, but it's coming.
Damn.
Instagram, calling them out. Some fans actually got mad at Taeyeon and Hyoyeon for mentioning NCT's name.
Well, it's not NCT's fault, of course.
Safety. Taeyeon's assistant was also assaulted at one point by someone trying to get close in 2014 when it was announced that member Jessica Jung had been seemingly pushed out of Girls' Generation by SM Entertainment, a move that no one expected. While that whole controversy in and of itself deserves a video deep dive like this one day, the expulsion of Jessica appeared to be due to a conflict between Jessica's budding fashion line Blanc and Eclair and Girls' Generation's upcoming schedules. This has been long disputed, of course, but nevertheless, SM announced that Girls' Generation would be moving forward as an 8-member group. As the leader, who was quickly blamed for Jessica's departure, Taeyeon apologized the next day directly to fans, saying, "From the start, we only wanted to protect Girls' Generation. Please believe in us one more time," leading many to believe that there were other reasons why Jessica had left, especially when the original music video for Catch Me If You Can leaked online, and Jessica is in it, that had already been reshot with the remaining 8 members. From that point on, and as of this filming, Girls' Generation has only officially performed their debut song Into the New World as a ballad, and never as the exciting, wide-eyed version it once was. Fortunately, Girls' Generation managed to continue as an 8-member group rather unscathed until their unusual hiatus in 2017, after their 10-year anniversary, when Sooyoung, Tiffany, and Seohyun left SM Entertainment at the end of their contracts. However, even now, the members still insist that Girls' Generation is still together, which
I mean, the same goes for EXO. A bunch of members have left SM Entertainment, but they're still together as a group and are expected to make a lot more music in the future.
Yeah, it's nice.
So, I mean, that's cool that even though some members might, in what they're doing like personally,
but they're still together,
won't be related to SM,
yeah, I like that.
They still get together to do new group stuff. That's cool.
If they make their long-awaited comeback, it would be another unprecedented move in K-pop to have one of its most successful girl groups perform activities together with members being from different companies.
Yeah.
During all of this, however, and even now, the girls frequently did individual activities that almost always were successful in their own right, even Jessica with Blanc and Eclair becoming a very popular fashion brand. Taeyeon, Sooyoung, and Yoona performed in multiple hit dramas, Sunny became a popular MC on multiple variety shows, Yuri launched her solo mini album that went #1 on iTunes in 15 different countries around the globe. Hyoyeon also launched a successful solo career with hits like Dessert. Tiffany Young also launched a successful solo career in the USA, a lifelong dream for the California native. Arguably, the most successful member, however, is Taeyeon.
I don't think that's even arguably. Like within, like if we're just talking about how huge she is as a musician, I would say obviously Taeyeon is by far the biggest soloist that has come out of Girls' Generation.
Definitely.
No doubt about that.
A magical 3-octave range sits in Taeyeon's throat. Vogue magazine described her as the Beyonce of Girls' Generation. The Korea Herald labeled her with calm and undeniable vocal prowess. Composer Yoo Young-sok described her voice as a woman who has been divorced 7 times. Meaning that she was able
I've
to
heard that
convey
quote
multiple
before.
Yeah.
And by multiple industry professionals, Taeyeon was crowned the best vocalist in all of K-pop in 2015. She was dubbed early on as the original soundtrack queen due to her releasing multiple OST songs for popular TV shows and films, most notably her song If, a ballad recorded just 1 year after debuting with Girls' Generation in 2008 that still remains as one of her most well-known hits in South Korea. Her single I Love You for the K-drama Athena, Goddess of War reached #2 on the Gaon chart. One of the lowest notes in the female vocal range lies in her OST song Missing You Like Crazy, showing that not only can she comfortably sing high notes around a D6, she can also impressively hit lower notes with that same richness. What's perhaps most impressive about Taeyeon's voice is the sheer amount of versatility it possesses. Taeyeon has sung in just about every genre there is. Funk in songs like Twinkle, rock with Spark, tropical house and EDM in her 2016 hit Why,
The song is so good, I love it.
R&B in songs like Fine, house in songs like I Envy You, metal in Devil's.
As a vocalist, it's always fun trying out some different genres and seeing what that kind of brings out in you. But also, I feel like still though, Taeyeon, she still has like her certain way of singing, no matter which genre she goes into. It's not like she totally, at least from what I've heard, switches up the way that she does her vocal.
No, you can hear it's Taeyeon.
It always has that sort of
she does different genres.
pop R&B kind of cadence and the way that she, you know, vibrates and just generally sings.
Exactly.
She's not suddenly gonna sound like, I haven't heard her sound like some sort of soul singer or some Arabic jazz thing or nothing along these lines. It's still pop R&B.
Exactly.
It's just, you know, with her vocal
and different genres too.
Sure, exactly.
Cry, a special live-only tour intro to Girls' Generation's Run Devil Run.
Oh.
Okay, in this case though, yeah, it definitely sounds way more metal. In that case.
Dang.
We can even get a little niche with 90s grunge in her self-penned Can't Control Myself. Disco being the overall genre of Weekend. Hip-hop as part of Got the Beat's Step Back. And so many more. Her voice has been compared to the likes of Ariana Grande, A-Lee, and more, and it's pretty easy to see why. All three women sing comfortably in R&B pop genres, excelling in a ballad-type format. All three of them have clear, rich tones and a really cool ability to convey a wide range of emotions through their music. A-Lee and Ariana Grande have Taeyeon beat in vocal range, as they're able to hit notes in the 7th octave range on the piano. However, Taeyeon has them beat in terms of currently showcased versatility, like I mentioned before as of this recording.
Taeyeon is super versatile for sure.
Definitely.
When it comes to like all the different genres that she likes to cover in her music in general, as Johnathan here is of course also saying, and that's also something that just generally makes Taeyeon such a fun artist to actually cover as well for us, because like you never know what you're gonna expect with her. Like one album might be one thing and another album might be another genre, and within that album there might be 4 different sort of like subcategories. Anyhow, let's keep on going.
Don't worry though, if Ariana Grande comes out with a metal song here soon, I'll be sure to make an addendum to this. When Taeyeon made her solo debut in 2015 with her pop rock song I, solo debuts were not as common as they are in K-pop today. They certainly were occurring, of course, but by today's standard in which solo debuts are practically expected from fans, you still had to prove yourself to be a worthy investment, even if you were part of a successful group dubbed the nation's girl group. In K-pop, solo debuts are kind of a special event with groups. The artist is still a part of their group, but they get a chance to shine on their own, and then afterward, they resume group activities altogether. Whereas in the West, if you see someone go solo in a popular group, it usually means that the group is probably over. Taeyeon was the first Girls' Generation member to officially debut as a soloist, given her previous success with all her OST songs, and luckily it ended up being a major win for SM Entertainment. The EP topped the Billboard World Albums chart. It has sold over 160,000 copies in South Korea as of 2019. It sold over 2.5 million digital units, won Taeyeon Best Female Artist at the Mnet
We saw this
Music
performance,
Awards, and directly caused SM Entertainment to lead in music sales in the last quarter of 2015. And this was at a time before streaming and things like Spotify had caught fire and is so widespread like it is today, allowing the door to open for the solo debuts of group mates Seohyun, Tiffany, Hyoyeon, and eventually Yuri. As time continued, Taeyeon fulfilled a lifelong dream by releasing music in Japanese, touring in both South Korea and Japan. She also became the first female K-pop solo act to hold a concert in Taiwan.
I wonder how Taeyeon's Japanese then is, if she's always like had some sort of ambition to release a bunch of music in the language. You think that she then like also done some lessons in it, but who knows? So to all the Japanese Taeyeon heads out there, let us know in the comments how her pronunciation is in her Japanese releases.
And at the Hong Kong Asia World Expo Arena. In 2014, BTS specifically named her as the influence and inspiration of their song Boy in Love. She also became the first female soloist ever to have 5 different albums sell over 100,000 copies in South Korea each. And on February 26, 2022, she became one of only a few SM Entertainment songs to achieve a perfect all-kill on Korean music charts, going #1 with her hit I Envy You. However, the question isn't what has Taeyeon done though, it's why is Taeyeon so popular? The answer to which actually lies in the very thing that started it all. There are a million things that Taeyeon has done that I haven't even mentioned today, because this isn't a retelling of her Wikipedia page. This is a personal editorial on why Taeyeon is so popular, and why she might even be worth a video essay on, especially when other prominent K-pop figures exist. Why does she matter, and what can artists learn from her? Tiffany Young once said that Girls' Generation felt like the birth of a new era for K-pop, especially for girl groups, and that's exactly what Taeyeon symbolizes. For a certain age group, Kim Taeyeon represents a solid rock in time's ever-changing and ever-flowing river. Her voice is not only instantly recognizable as uniquely hers, but it also is the voice arguably most recognizable from one of the world's most successful girl groups of all time. It's a sound that takes many people back to an exciting time that's akin to how younger people feel every time BTS, Twice, or Blackpink get another win and break more grounds for K-pop. It's the same feeling of cheering on a friend every time Taeyeon opens her mouth and lets the gods transport the listener into the purest emotion of the song. Even if it's a carefree, upbeat dance number, a heavy metal experience, or a ballad that completely captures your heart. She's a humble goofball that doesn't go out of her way to make sure
she doesn't speak English, or does she speak English? I'm so confused.
I don't know.
Like,
her
I've seen her
accent
speak,
is perfect.
when she speaks English, it sounds like her pronunciation is on point, right? But I just don't know. Because other times, like, it's really weird. I think she just has really good pronunciation, but her English is pretty basic. Yeah. That's how it seems like to me.
That's what some fans have told us.
Right. Well, she should definitely keep on practicing because she already got the pronunciation down.
Exactly.
She knows the dangers of the industry and what can happen, and the mental toll it can take on a person. Yet, as soon as she steps foot on the stage, or one of her songs come up on shuffle, she commands your attention without demanding you look at her. She's a lesson in being humble and having a little humility for everyone. She's been blamed for something that wasn't her fault. She knows that just because you're on stage doesn't mean you're safe. Taeyeon also knows that just because you're in a popular group doesn't mean that you won't have to wait your turn to attain your personal dreams. She can also teach us that talent will always be valued if you stick with it and love what you do. Taeyeon said that with every song she releases, she wants to make sure it's autobiographical in nature. A song without soul and passion is just a song. SM Entertainment didn't want Taeyeon to release INBU as the lead single from her third album, but she pushed back with them, and it resulted in her earning one of the hardest achievements to get in the Korean music industry.
Crazy.
She's a supporter of the LGBTQ+ community. She donates to charitable causes like the Korean Red Cross and
wait, what does she do here?
LGBTQ+
comes out for LGBTI rights. Well, that's nice. Everyone should be treated with respect.
Definitely.
Of course. Anyhow, let's give it a go.
Community. She donates to charitable causes like the Korean Red Cross and important causes supporting abandoned pets and animals in South Korea. She has been very open about her struggles with depression and advocates for better mental health in the industry. Kim Taeyeon is not only popular because of her personality, donations, fashion, and previous success in a girl group, it's because through her humility and humble honesty and soul in her music, she inadvertently became the voice of a generation that eagerly awaits to see what happens next.
Ooh. Nice. What a good video by Johnathan right here.
Very true.
Very interesting. Yeah, this was very interesting and we learned a lot. This was kind of like a guide for both Girls' Generation and Taeyeon. More Taeyeon, of course.
Definitely.
We learned a lot.
I mean, there was some focus on the rest of Girls' Generation, but it was more of like auxiliary
Definitely.
to, Taeyeon, because obviously Taeyeon came up within Girls' Generation.
Yeah, exactly.
For sure.
And this video is about Taeyeon.
Definitely.
But I actually learned a lot and a little biography in a way. And I understand now why is Taeyeon so popular. It actually makes total sense.
I like what Johnathan here did by the end, where as a conclusion, he essentially asked the question, but why is Taeyeon actually so popular? And then he kind of, brought back a lot of the points that he had made actually throughout the video.
Exactly.
And that was a nice way of sort of concluding what, essentially amounts to a guide.
Exactly.
Honestly, Johnathan, for your next video like this, I would include the word guide in the title. I think you're gonna get even more views. I mean, the format is different from what you're used to within K-pop guides for sure.
Yeah,
but I'd still almost call it essentially a guide.
A guide, a little bit.
Yeah.
Deep dive makes sense though.
Sure.
In a way, but I like it. I like the video. First time ever checking this guy, and I like his editing. I like the way he's playing
Johnathan
stuff.
here did a good job from a purely editing perspective. Obviously both me and Valen have a lot of experience editing videos. I used to edit videos for all sorts of different clients for quite literally a living within After Effects, Premiere Pro, what have you. And as an editor as well, I just want to say I think it was really well done.
Yeah.
It was concise. It wasn't overly edited nor anything like this. It was just nice. It got the job done. It's also nice to see Johnathan himself talking.
Yeah.
As some different parts, sort of bringing out a bit more of his personality and making it a bit more human to human.
Exactly.
That was nice as well. So yeah, Johnathan did a great job here. But with regards to Taeyeon, we learned a little bit more.
Yeah,
I mean, I'd say that we're kind of getting into becoming Taeyeon scholars at this point. We know a lot.
Exactly. We know a lot.
We know a lot about Taeyeon at this point. We listen to her music all the time.
Exactly.
But nonetheless, very interesting.
Very interesting.
Very interesting. What was something from the video that really stuck out to you?
the beginnings, like I didn't know she started so young, and I didn't know she was the oldest member of Girls' Generation.
I didn't know she was the oldest member of Girls' Generation.
And the leader.
But I did know she started at 13, I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Yeah,
at 13.
That's crazy. And that I didn't know she ran away from
I didn't know that. That surprised
And then she came back like, man, I need to finish. I want to be a singer.
And also her whole struggle with depression,
I
actually
didn't know that
not
either.
aware of. I know that she'd had a bunch of problems also related to, relationships and what we've also been referring to here, but not like just straight up like depression and this type of pressure.
That's sad. I hope she's getting treated and like she has a lot of support from her friends and family, because that is not a joke.
For sure.
That really has taken a lot of people from this earth, literally. And
well,
I hope she
well,
deals
people
with
keep
it.
treating each other like garbage, so it's very tragic. I mean, everywhere in the world, people treat each other very badly.
Not only South Korea, everywhere in the world. It's very sad. Even in the
humans
internet,
can be very evil. Just look
extremely evil.
Look, with like what you just mentioned regarding the internet. Look at the comments in TikTok or Instagram, like Reels. When anybody has like a problem, when someone's like handicapped, there's always so many people just making fun of it. Like the majority of the comments in there are straight up just bullies. There is a lot of very evil people in the world. A lot.
People are getting way too comfortable bullying people.
Exactly, because it's anonymous. But even,
I don't know.
But also in schools and stuff everywhere. If you can get away with it, they'll do it. And that's incredibly scary that there are so many people among us that are totally fine with, writing so many evil, hateful things. And obviously K-pop idols have to suffer a lot of this. I don't know why, but there's definitely an element of these like anti-fans and just generally messed up people who really like bothering poor K-pop idols for everything. And it's literally their life, it's their livelihood. They're out there on stage giving their all, and they just get so many like evil comments and just horrific stuff, and they already are struggling likely with a bunch of like image issues.
Exactly.
It's horrible. And people like that, there ought to be some sort of punishment. So I mean, I totally get why you want an anonymous internet, but for some things, man, I think you should just like have your full face on there. I think on like I think personally on Instagram, all these different applications should have your full name on there, your face, everything. Then trust me, people would not talk that way.
People will not comment those horrible stuff.
Amen. I mean, look, even in a Korean context, a lot of the time, even the fans themselves are hiding their faces with, the masks and stuff, even when they're not doing anything negative.
Exactly.
So imagine when they're like doing negative stuff. It's the same when we get negative comments. I have never in my life gotten anyone that showed their face and like their full name, right, like straight up like, hate.
It's even like a lot of channels are even made like that same day.
Yeah, they make it just to write the comment. Because they know they're gonna get banned.
That's so weird, but yeah.
Yeah, it's messed up.
I hope Taeyeon has a lot of support around her.
Oh, she does.
I really hope she continues and Girls' Generation continues.
She will, and they will.
They will.
No doubt about that.
I'm happy and I want to see what they do next. Exactly.
Definitely. It'll be interesting to see where they will go and how they will adapt to our ever-changing times.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, everyone, thank you so much for watching this video, and a giant shout out to Johnathan Miller Music for having made this video in the first place. Make sure to go over and check out Johnathan Miller's video. Give it a like for sure. Even before you like ours, make sure to like the original. No doubt about that. Anyhow, everyone, thank you so much for watching the video. It was a mega interesting sort of deep dive, and we got to learn more about wonderful Taeyeon.
Yeah.
Make sure to like the video if you enjoy our content. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see more of us. And lastly, make sure to head on over to Patreon and check out all of our Taeyeon content. There's so much Taeyeon content over there, and we're always trying to get up new Taeyeon content as well, because she is a super cool artist. So yeah, make sure to head on over to Patreon and check that out. Nonetheless, everyone, see you in the next one.
Bye guys, take care.
Bye guys, take care.